What's happening, Nooch?
What's going on, Fish? How we doing today, man?
We're doing pretty good. Before we get rolling, y'all check out the digs here. Look below, like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll add one thing: hit the bell. Hitting the bell gives you a notification whenever we drop a new video. You'll get a notification on your phone saying, "Hey, go check out Fish and Nooch."
Yep, absolutely.
Email fishandnooch@gmail.com. Nooch, I told Nooch I'm not monitoring that. He said he would. But y'all can
Yeah,
send
I got it.
whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, I got it.
Hey man,
Uh,
I like what you did there with the TV. I like that channel you got it on.
yeah. I figured you would like that.
Mhm.
Hey, did you notice added some shelves for the Heisman's back here? You know, just kind of getting cluttered down here, so put them on some shelves up here.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I see him now, way over there. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
it is what it
Nice.
is.
We need another one up there to make it even.
That's you notice I got the empty shelf
Uh-huh. Nice.
waiting for it.
All right. Well, I love what you've done to the place. Um, Nooch, I told him the other day, I don't know of a better week in LSU, at least modern history, that I can remember. Do you?
Not off the top of my head, no. I have to agree with you. I mean, obviously, any week in which we won a championship kind of goes up there. But as far as an entire week and not just one singular moment during a week taking over, yeah, this was big.
Yeah, this was huge. So I kind of tracked a little bit of the progress, and it started on October 25th when LSU goes to the locker room at halftime, leading highly ranked Texas A&M, and then comes out and it's all downhill from there. I mean, just gets blown
Oh,
out, embarrassed.
yes, terrible. One of the worst halves of football I've ever witnessed.
Fans by the end of the game are literally holding up signs saying "Fire Kelly," chanting "Fire Kelly," and it took about 12 hours, and we fired Kelly.
So let me
On
ask a question on those signs. Does that mean they made the signs before they went to the game?
I don't know, just in
Like,
case. You know how LSU fans are.
well, I'm just wondering. I mean, I've been to quite a few games, and I never saw like the arts and crafts section at the concession stand. So I was
Guess
kind of
they had
wondering
it with
about
them.
that. Yeah.
Guess they had them with them, but they sure did have them. And the
Yes,
next
yeah,
day,
they did.
Kelly was fired. Shortly thereafter, Governor Landry went absolutely stupid, and LSU was anything but aligned. And Nooch doesn't like me using that word, but that was
Hmm.
the buzzword, and we were not aligned.
No, it was I kind of mentioned it, I touched base on it a little briefly on one of the podcasts. And yeah, it was bad. That was as bad of a PR run as we could possibly have had over a call it a week stretch, a little over a week stretch. It wasn't pretty. You had all of the national media talking trash about us. We the governor was literally calling out agents by name, not just any agent, but the agent
Yeah.
in college
Jimmy
football.
Sexton, Trace Armstrong, whoever.
Yeah, and basically said, "Look, I hate all of these agents." Called the agents out and said, "We're not paying big money for a football coach again." So it really was about the worst thing you could go out and publicly say when, well, you're looking for a football coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're looking for one represented by that agent that you called
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
Um, I called it discombobulated, embarrassing. It all appeared hopeless.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, a couple of days later, fire Scott Woodward. Of course, that was after he on at a snap press conference or something like that. He said he'd rather have Donald Trump hire the next coach than Scott Woodward, who was actually his sitting AD at the time, our LSU sitting AD. Scott was fired the next day, and Verge was kind of introduced, but then well, he's interim, and no, he's not interim, but he's not the real one. And then
He's just
eventually,
acting. He's not interim, he's acting.
yeah,
And
acting.
then,
We
right.
hired a president who came out and said that. Well, it was like the first thing he publicly said is stepped in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm taking away the interim tag, but he's acting AD,
He's
not
an acting
permanent AD,
AD. It's the
which I don't
same
know what the
thing,
difference
dude.
between acting and interim is. You're the English lit guy. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
You,
I'm not feeling it. So anyway, they came back. Oh, look, Amazon just showed up. I got something good in there. I can't wait. I told my wife she's got to stay in the other room. She can't go look at it. All right.
Okay,
Anyway,
good.
glad it arrived. So Verge is eventually announced for real, and then everything changed.
Yeah, first off, the governor showed up,
Yeah. Yeah.
president showed up,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of we almost went radio silent for a little while, actually. I mean, there were obviously people knew who we wanted, but as far as actual legit sources of
I've been
having any
telling
type
him for
of
5 years
info,
who I wanted.
well, you don't get a
Oh, you
vote.
weren't talking about me?
No, not you. Um, but it was pretty obvious who would or at least you would assume would be on LSU short list. But as far as any kind of leaks or rumors of what was actually happening behind the scenes, you didn't hear anything. It was a pretty
Hmm.
well done up until closer to the end.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, in the media, not who you may or may not know. As far as media talking, there was no. It wasn't like some of them in the years past. Let's put it to you that way.
I mean, even I was thinking at that time, Lane staying at Florida. I'm sorry, at Florida. Florida.
Yeah.
At Ole Miss. I thought he would stay at Ole Miss. That's what I thought. Happy I'm wrong. But honestly, Florida thought they had it wrapped up. And that's the funniest part in all this. I remember I said I had something ready for if we got Lane from Ole Miss, but really I'd rather make fun of Florida for the way they handled themselves
Yeah,
in all of it.
absolutely. Other than we just don't get to play them every year anymore. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
true.
guess we'll just make fun of Ole Miss now. That's fine.
So, but yeah, Verge, he was resolute. He didn't back down. Florida, we don't back down, bitches. Uh,
Exactly.
we didn't back down, and Verge started building alignment. New trade sound. But yeah,
Yeah,
once Layla and Chris Kiffin's wife, whatever her name is, once they visited LSU, what Baton Rouge, it was over.
right.
I was pretty much convinced that's what I was hearing. It's over, locked up, and the kids checking out U High over there. The kid being Knox Kiffin, who's
Right.
quarterback at Oxford High School this year, um, as a sophomore. I guess he'll be the quarterback at U High next year.
Right. Which
So,
I'm guessing by the time they came to town, it was probably pretty much already done before they got here. Um,
well, they went to Florida the day before, so I don't know. The Florida wasn't just smoke, but once that happened, once they came to LSU or to Baton Rouge, honestly, it was over. But I understood people hesitating and doubting, and you said it yourself. You said, "Hey, man, I'm superstitious," and I get it. I said, "I'm just a little stitious. You're superstitious," but
yeah,
I
that I
felt
am.
very confident that it was going to be Lane at that point.
Yeah, I was confident. I've seen this movie too many times, and not just here, other places as well.
Sure.
Uh, up until something signed, things happen.
I get it. Saw it at Florida.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saw it at Florida this year. So anyway, it was eventually official. And it's so funny because there were people on the message board even that were still, Saturday it was a done deal. And then Sunday afternoon, I still had people saying, "Are we being duped? Like, what are you talking about? He's on a plane. He's about to land. What are you talking about?"
I
But
was
anyway,
I didn't get to follow it real time. I was driving from
yeah.
Utah to Salt Lake City to Odessa. Don't do that in one day. If
No.
anybody out there ever plans on it, don't do it all in one day. Um, when I was pretty really confident Saturday evening, I didn't know it was official. But Saturday morning, when they announced within 30 minutes of each other, they announced Arkansas, Auburn, and Florida's hires. I was like, it's done. It's
Done. Yeah.
now it's on paper
The
done. It's
dominoes are falling.
right. It was kind of one of those like I was waiting for it to be something had to happen first, and
And Florida
once
had
they
already
all
removed themselves from the link. You didn't remove yourselves. You got
yeah,
removed.
correct. I was kind of interested with Florida hiring Summerall, which they kind of did that one a little. weird too because supposedly Summerall was going there and he came out and said, "No, I don't have an interview at Florida. What are you talking about? They
Yeah.
haven't even reached out to me yet," kind of
Yeah.
deal. Which maybe that was him just playing
Well,
coy
I
to the
think it
media.
was them still flirting with Lane Kiffin, trying to get that, and he's like, "Well, if Lane Kiffin leaves, maybe I need to go to Ole Miss." So he's
Yeah,
trying to protect himself too, you know. Well,
right.
he took
Yeah,
the
could be.
Florida job, so they get another Louisiana G5 coach. I hit a couple of my Florida buddies with that just today.
You have Florida buddies?
Yeah, I
Why?
do. I do. Good friends. Good friends.
Uh,
Just
yeah,
bad choice in where they were born.
I don't have friends from other
Who
schools
who
like
would
that.
you rather than? I mean, they live in Tampa. Who would you rather them root for? Miami, Florida, or Florida State, or South Florida, I guess.
I mean, we again see it's really not
And they're
fair.
my age, so they grew up with Spurrier. I mean, come on, my
Uh,
age or younger.
Okay, well, Miami was still the U at that point.
Yeah, these are good guys though.
I get it. I get it. I can't I can't stomach Florida. I can swallow Florida State. I can't stomach Florida.
So from that Sunday, the Sunday that Lane Kiffin hit the ground, hit the runway in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. From that day until Saturday when I texted you, that's when I said I cannot remember a single better week in modern LSU history. Um,
Okay.
I would say, and we've done a podcast since then, but he just killed the press conference. Just awesome press conference. Anybody that doubted at that point, they're like, okay, all right, yeah. The people that like fit, they're like, yeah, this guy will fit. You know,
Yeah, I
better
think so.
than me and my family. You know, we don't have to listen to any of that shit like we did from Brian Kelly.
He
Just real.
you also threw out that word fit that you love so much.
Mhm.
Kiffin even made the comment that we're recruiting kids that fit.
That
So,
fit the program. I even, yeah, I guess you caught that off my notes.
oh,
Signing kids
absolutely.
that fit the
I wasn't
program.
I wasn't about to let that one slide.
So that's Monday. National Signing Day is Wednesday. Lane Kiffin's announced Monday.
Yes.
And LSU just goes to snag every prospect that we wanted that we had a shot at. He kept all of them. A lot of credit goes to somebody we're going to talk about later, and that's Frank Wilson.
Yeah.
Um, when all that debacle that we talked about in the beginning happened, um, nobody decommitted. Nobody opted out of the rest of the season. Nothing like that. Frank held the team together. But yeah, LSU was able to sign every single prospect that we had a chance at that fits the program. There was a couple of guys that we did not sign that had been committed to us, but he let them go before National Signing Day, and they signed somewhere else. You know,
Right.
one of them signed at Ole Miss.
Have
So,
him.
and people were mad. They were like, "Hey, that's a Louisiana wide receiver." Like, dude, if you've not watched Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, I'm gonna go ahead and trust his wide receiver evaluation. How about Trey
Yeah.
Harris? How about a guy like that? You know, I mean, the dude, he knows what he's doing with offense. I'm not questioning anything he does with offense. First time in LSU history, we signed the number one recruit in the country. Surprise you?
Actually, yeah.
Surprised me too.
I Well, there's a few guys we've had in the past who, and again, I do not follow recruiting much. There's a couple of guys we've had in the past that I guess it just dawned on me they weren't the number one guys in
Yeah,
their
like Leonard
class.
Fournette, he was number two.
Right, yeah, correct. I was thinking
Derek
Fournette would have been
Stingley,
one. Stingley, even Russell
Shep.
Shepard was very high.
Shep
I
was
mean,
top
those types
10.
of guys, right? I mean, they're way up there, and I would have definitely thought Fournette possibly would have been a number
He was
one
number
guy.
two. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Number one running back, but he was number two overall. We signed
Okay.
the number one recruit in the country in Lamar Brown, who was actually, he was also listed as the number one athlete. Because, like if you're the number one recruit, but you happen to be a running back, well, then you're also the number one running back. Well, he was
Right.
the number one recruit, but he was listed as the number one athlete and he was listed as the number two defensive lineman.
Hmm.
We also signed the
Yeah.
number one defensive lineman.
Nice.
So weird, but yeah, Lamar Brown's going to play. He's going to play defensive line, defensive end, and Big Richard Anderson, number one defensive lineman, defensive tackle. People are, you know, prematurely, I'm certain, comparing him to Glenn Dorsey.
That's
That's
yeah.
huge praise.
Yeah. That's I mean you got to have at least some sort of skin on the wall before you could say that.
Yeah,
You know,
sure,
okay, potential, yeah, absolutely
potential.
potential. But that's a lot of pressure on a guy because that's about as good of a defensive lineman as I've ever seen on the collegiate level. He's in the top
Mhm.
handful of best I've ever seen, period. So that's uh that's lofty.
But that's just two guys. LSU signed four top 100 defensive linemen. And the way I just texted back and forth with Nooch, I said, this is literally program defining.
Oh yeah.
It has the potential
Absolutely.
to be. Obviously, they got to pan out. Chris
Right.
Davenport
Correct.
was one of the highly rated players that we signed in the past that didn't pan out worth the shit. But
Javante Valentine played what, 6 snaps this whole time here? I mean,
yeah,
he was-
he's a unicorn.
right.
But nonetheless, to sign four top 100, including one that was an Ole Miss legacy, Deuce Gerald's. His dad played at Ole Miss. Um, LSU signed all four, and they're Tigers. That's
And
that.
hey, you know me, I'm a defensive guy, so I was licking my chops watching the names come across in the
Yeah.
positions they played. I was and then if you look at the list, being defense heavy, you know what that means, right? That means we're probably going offense heavy in the portal.
Oh, sure, sure. We have no choice. LSU has, at the moment, for 2026, one scholarship quarterback, and that's if he stays.
The president?
But we'll get to that in a minute. To top it all off, let's stick with the defense while we're here, and we got these two guys on each side, these guys on each side of Lane Kiffin behind us. We got Blake Baker, we got Corey Raymond over there. Both of them are coming back. And Blake Baker, let me just tell you this. Blake Baker, and this is also going to speak to something we're going to talk about later with a guy on the offense side of the ball. Blake Baker had the opportunity to be the head coach of Memphis, and he had the opportunity to be the head coach of Tulane. Tulane is Blake Baker's freaking alma mater. He played football for Tulane, and
Linebacker.
he turned it down.
Yes.
Why does
Uh,
that happen? In fact, Hugh Tiger on the forum asked that question. I don't understand. I just find it amazing that he turned down his alma mater.
it's yeah, it's definitely it's money is obviously one. Um, the opportunity to do something really, really special here. Uh, I don't know. I know he signed a 3-year extension. I don't think we're going to keep him all 3 years because he has openly said he wants to be a head coach. Um,
He actually openly said though he wants to be Kirby Smart, and what he
right.
meant by that is he wants to go from being a defensive coordinator. He wants to establish such a reputation as a defense coordinator that he goes to a landing spot, not a stepping stone. He goes to a
Yeah,
premier
and
program as a head coach.
obviously that's possible. I mean, Bo Pelini left here to go to Nebraska. That's that type of gig that if you
Yeah.
find the right one, you can definitely do. Um, so
And
you
he
know,
knows that Tulane's a stepping stone. I mean, everybody,
yeah, absolutely, it's a
that's not
good
even
one.
a shot at Tulane. And I love taking shots at Tulane. That's not a
Oh,
shot at
absolutely.
Tulane. They know they're a stepping stone.
Yeah, they're aware of it.
Their prior two
Which
coaches left to go to bigger gigs.
and I mean, I'm actually really glad from because I'm a shit talker and I'm here for the fun. Um, it's really awesome that he turned them down. So now that first round playoff game is going to be Ole Miss versus Tulane, two guys, two teams who the person they
Yep.
wanted coaching them is going to be in Baton Rouge instead on LSU's campus.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking really forward to watching that game because it's going to be LSU, 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 LSU,
Yeah,
LSU.
absolutely. And then you said another thing you read online, and I guess was what Tulane fans are telling themselves to console each other was that Baker's tired of moving his family. I mean, do you really have to
I heard
actually
that
move
too.
house?
He said that in an interview. He said he's moved 6 times in the last few
Right.
years,
I get
but
it, but you're
a lot
gonna
different from moving from Miami to Missouri to LSU back to Missouri and back to LSU
right,
than it
right.
is
I mean,
moving
you're
from
moving.
LSU to
Yeah, I
Tulane.
mean, Jesus Christ, dude. I'm sure he lives somewhere on the southeastern side of Baton Rouge right now.
Yeah,
I mean, really, you can move to like somewhere on the western edge of New Orleans to be in the
yeah.
better
You'd be in
area.
Laplace or whatever. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. I mean, what is that? What is that? 35-minute drive? I mean, come on.
yeah. Be in Laplace or shit, Gonzales even.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
it just had nothing to do with not wanting to move because that you don't even have to move houses if you don't want. You could
well, and
theoretically
you go look
commute.
at what Tulane was paying John Sumrall around 2 million a year. LSU is now paying Blake Baker 3 million a year.
Yes.
It's about money and other factors.
Yeah, and
But
it's the exposure because while Tulane is going to be on ESPN Plus, LSU is going to be nationally televised every single game. With especially with the extra hype that's coming with Kiffin. You turn out another defense similar to what we've had this year, on top of what Kiffin should be able to do to the offense, and LSU is going to be a national story all year
correct,
long. It's going to be
correct.
something people will talk about,
Well, if you think about it, Tulane's been really good the last couple of years. But they're a freaking playoff team this year.
right?
I saw them on TV once or twice at night, just scrolling through. Oh, shit, there's Tulane. Let's see what they're doing.
Shit, dude,
LSU, like I said, they're on TV every week.
I've watched parts of most of one football game and parts of another. The conference championship Friday night because it was the only game on, so I did watch it Friday night. The
That's
only
one of
other
the
game
ones I watched.
the only other game of theirs I watched any of is when Ole Miss kicked the dog shit out of them earlier this
Yep,
year, and
same.
I didn't even watch all of that. It
Same
was
two
just on.
games.
Yeah, it was on
Same
TV.
two games.
Yeah,
Um,
so
so what do you think about that other guy over there about you?
Corey Raymond, oh,
Yeah,
he's DBU, man.
yeah,
They call him the godfather of it, and
Godfather.
that's who he is. He started as a player at the very, very early stages of DBU. He did kind of have his little hiccup toward the end of his last stint here before coming back, but now he's back, and man, the secondary was pretty goddamn good. You got
Well,
some
and you think
speed.
about what you just said, the secondary. Well, we got Mansour Delane. Okay, how about PJ Woodland's improvement? How about DJ Pickett? On
Yeah,
three rivals, true freshman of the
freshman of the
year,
year,
DJ Pickett.
my dog.
Yeah, I figured you'd be happy about that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when Delane went down and missed time, we're talking about arguably the best corner in the country, definitely the best corner in the SEC. And shit, we really didn't, you don't want to say didn't miss him, but you didn't really miss a beat when he went down because it's looking like we did back at the peak of DBU days where, hey, this next guy who's behind him is probably a starter at other places. We're back getting to that level again. And it's all because of Corey. So he's here. He knows how to recruit. He's LSU through and through. And shit, hope we keep him a long damn time.
Yeah, well, that was the one I was worried about. How is my volume right now? Because I just changed. I just realized I didn't have my mic on. I'm going through my
That's pretty
computer.
good.
We good? Okay, I just swapped while you were talking. Glad it picked up. Yeah, same. I was concerned about Corey because I was concerned about your man crush. I'm like, with this transfer portal, you got to watch everything.
Right.
You fool around. That's why we're going to talk about something. I've been mentioning this a couple of times now. Um, but you fool around and get rid of the wrong coach, and you might lose some players. And I was concerned about DJ, but when they signed Corey, I'm like, all right, he's here. We're good. Um,
Yes.
that's you know the week that we had. That's it right there. LSU, the vibe from October 25th to now is 180 degrees flipped. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just on its ear. And you know, we rolled through. And you talk about the recruiting class. I didn't mention a whole lot of names, and I'm not going to sit here and go through every one. There's only 14 guys in the recruiting class in LSU. USC, by comparison, number one class in the country, they signed 35 recruits. Texas
I guess
A&M
that
is up there. They signed 27 recruits. LSU signed 14, and they're the number 11 ranked team, recruiting class in the country. But by individual player rating, number one. Number
that's
one. That's
um
pure
I'm
quality.
guessing, and again, I don't follow recruiting. I'm guessing that whole 25 class limit thing is that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it's more about the 85 hard limit. Um, LSU's got a lot of work to do in the portal. And and here's what I have no doubt that it's going to turn out fantastic. Portal opens up. There's already names going in the portal. In fact, there's some from LSU.
Yeah.
My former man crush, Ashton Stamps. Uh, Ahmad Bro. That one surprised me. And there was some guy named I don't remember, somebody Foster.
Okay.
And he played. I learned the bald guy that does the big podcast every day, the Locked On or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah, that guy.
He talked about it and he titled his YouTube show a bombshell. And there was this guy Wallace Foster, that's his name. And I'm like, Wallace Foster, who the hell is that guy? And
I don't even
he
know.
made mention that he did play this year. He played in the Southeastern game. He played one snap. It's his LSU
You
career. What a
hate,
bombshell,
yeah, you hate losing
Matthew.
those guys.
Yeah, what a bombshell. But Ashton Sampson wasn't a bombshell either. I mean, I'm
No,
sorry, when you don't see the field all year,
right.
he's
That's
probably not
that's
coming
the
back.
level guys. And really and truly, that's why I don't have an issue with the portal in and of itself because that's the guys that the portal is actually created for.
Yeah,
Those types.
guys that
Yeah,
probably should have been at Southeastern to begin with.
right. There's guys, and you see it both ways. There's guys who they go out to the big school and realize, okay, I'm not top tier big school player. I need to drop down a level. And then there's also the late developers, those guys who don't really get the recognition and don't get noticed by the big schools, so they start off small. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to try
Like a Zy
something big.
Alexander,
Yeah, somebody like him. Exactly. Good.
Bauer Sharp.
Cy Alexander is my former man crush, by the way.
Correct, correct. Um, so so we're losing. There's some attrition there. So far, three. But that's just as of the last couple of days where that's become official. But that portal opens up on January 2nd, and Lane is already really considered the portal king, and we're about to see
Right.
what's what.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I would say though, Lane's done more work in a week than Brian Kelly did in 4 freaking years. Honestly, I mean, the
I,
dude's up at 5 a.m. texting, or I'm sorry, tweeting about getting to work today. This was Saturday, and boom, the next thing you see, Corey Raymond's back. We signed Corey Raymond. Boom, next thing you see, uh, your boy Blake Baker. And,
yes.
and nobody was, everybody thought he was going to Tulane.
I thought for sure he was a Tulane all the way. Um,
Yeah, he's up at
yeah,
5 a.m. in
he
the
did.
morning tweeting about that and then making it happen.
Oh,
And meantime, Brian Kelly, when he was coach at LSU, in a game week, he's out playing golf after Margs and brunch at Superior Grill. And if we had a
big
bye
difference.
week, by God, he was going to the beach. What are you doing, man? We got
Yeah,
somebody that's going to work their ass off. And I said
yeah,
that when I had my little rant about Fit. Fit. I don't care what he talks like. I don't care where he's from, what kind
no,
of food he likes. I don't care. You come to LSU and you work your ass off like a Jay Johnson. Dude, we got Jay Johnson
like
and Lane Kiffin.
yeah. And the way I said it is, you better at least look like you care as much as the fans do. That's it. If you don't even appear to give a shit, like one of Brian Kelly looked like you just straight don't give a shit. You're not putting in the effort as coach as we are as fans. That's not good enough here. You got to put in you have to at least match our effort. And as fans at LSU, we're putting in every bit as much effort as anyone else on the planet. So you better step up and be ready for that. And Kiffin's doing it. And one of the things I saw recently, people who, if you really want to sit back and know why Lane Kiffin chose LSU over Ole Miss, he signed more five stars in 4 days at LSU than he did in 6 years, because you can. And it's that
Because they
simple.
grow on trees.
It's actually why Brian Kelly, that's one of the things he said whenever he came here as well from Notre Dame. I mean, he left
Yeah, but
freaking
you
Notre
still have
Dame.
to work.
And right, correct. You still have to go get it, but it's available to you if you go out and for it.
Let's
And
talk about how
Kelly
available it
did.
is. I actually heard this today. This is an insane statistic. So Richard Anderson, Big Rich,
Hmm.
and Aiden Hall, safety, signed in this early signing period. They both come from Carr in New Orleans. You know
Right.
how many D1 signees Carr had last
This
Wednesday? What'd you say?
You froze for a second. How many did they
Okay.
have?
15. One
Jesus Christ.
five Division One signees from one high school. Dude, I went to John Curtis. John
Yeah.
Curtis. Okay, say what you will about John Curtis, but bottom line is JT Curtis, winningest high school coach in the history of high school football nationally.
Yeah.
Period. Pretty we never had 15, dude. We
Oh,
had Joe McKnight, then we had Reggie Dupree, and then we had Michael Stonebreaker, and I'm just naming some that are separated by 5, 10, 15 years. We never had guys like that.
no. I don't know anybody who does. Even
This
as
is one high school in New Orleans.
as impressive as like St. Aug's alumni roll is, that was never all at one time. Those
No.
guys were spread out. I mean, all the way.
15, dude.
That's insane. Yeah, and like you said, that's just one.
Yeah.
That's not counting all the rest.
So we got about 5 minutes, and we're talking about Carr. Carr's in New Orleans, and I want to talk about Frank Wilson because there's been some questions, and rightfully so. I've questioned it myself. What's his future hold? And I don't have a lot of clarity. Here's what I feel, though. I feel like Frank Wilson's future lies in the hands of Kevin Smith. You know who Kevin Smith is?
Uh, it's the running back coach at Ole Miss.
Correct. Yes, and he has been with Lane Kiffin for 9 years, six of them at Ole Miss, three of them at FAU. He has not been announced as LSU's running back coach. My feeling is that's probably because Frank is leading the team through the bowl game, the Texas Bowl, where we play Houston, Texas, in Houston, Texas.
Same
Anyway,
same place we'll be playing them for a home game soon.
yeah. So that's uh that's my feeling on Frank is if Kevin Smith wants to join Lane Kiffin, because y'all, if Lane Kiffin did not want Kevin Smith to join him, he already would have signed Frank.
Right,
That's just the bottom line. If but if Kevin Smith says, you know what, I'm going to stay here at Ole Miss or gets an opportunity elsewhere, then maybe we keep Frank. That's the only thing I can think of. If it was up to Lane, it already would have been done. Corey and Blake Baker are examples of that.
right.
He prioritized them and he went and got it done. Now, what does that do to LSU? There's a couple of ways to look at it. Frank Wilson is a guy, number one, I got a lot of respect for him, got more respect for him now than I ever did, just for the fact that we didn't have one opt out and we didn't have any recruits that decommitted over this coaching change.
Right.
He held the class together and he held the team together, and I respect him for that. And he deserves credit. Um, he deserves credit for the team fighting the way they did. I mean, this team lost 5 games, yeah, four of
Yes.
them to playoff teams, y'all. Four of them to playoff teams. And two of them under Frank's watch were both one-score games very late. In fact, they should have beaten Oklahoma. They just one blown coverage away
Yes.
from beating Oklahoma. And now Oklahoma's on the way to the playoffs. Frank held it all together. But the bottom line is that's one way to look at it. And the other way to look at it is, oh, will LSU ever recover from this? Well, LSU won a title in 2003, 2007, and 2019. And Frank Wilson was not at LSU in any of those years.
Yeah.
He was at LSU during 2011. Um, but obviously we didn't win a championship. I'm just talking about LSU can succeed without Frank.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely you can. Uh,
I would rather have him.
yes. Yeah, and I said that before. I think he's a guy that you do try to find a spot for. I just don't know where he would fit in what type of position you could put him in where he could still recruit for you. Because even if you move him as an analyst, those guys aren't allowed to recruit.
Correct.
So can't
Well,
do
they're not
that.
allowed to recruit off campus.
Right.
And so
Which,
there's always, words mean, you always say, oh, the English major. Okay, well, words mean things.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, Frank
but
could recruit on campus.
he could, but one of Frank's strengths is you can send him. Shit, he used to coach at Carr. You know, he's a former head coach there. He's the
Yeah.
guy.
Goes to
If
Oak
you're
Prairie
gonna,
Walk. Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna send somebody to go visit Carr, Frank's the guy you send. I mean,
Yeah.
because like I
For
said, his
sure.
name's on a couple little plaques on that wall. I mean, he's a guy that he's definitely the one you want to send in there. Um, but yeah, hey, everybody knows it. Now it's you did your little symbol. Now it's money, NIL, all of those things matter even more so than your on campus or off campus visits. So I don't think it's as crucial to have a guy. You still want him, of course. You'd rather him be on your school than somebody else's, but it's not as big of a deal breaker as what it once was.
Correct. I agree with that. That's my thoughts on Frank. Um, Just real quick, we got 2 minutes. Garrett Nussmeier, we've seen the last of him. He is officially out for the bowl game. He's not playing. So we're trying to figure out. Been rumblings of Jawan Johnson maybe playing quarterback. Got Michael Van Buren. Um, I asked Nooch what he thought Kiffin's role would be, if any, and I think we both agree he's going to be on
It'll be minimal.
100% portal watch.
Yeah, it's the I guess the ideal, the really the silver lining in having this situation where you have an interim versus the coach. Your new coach can right now focus on the things going forward. This game doesn't really matter much going forward. So while other teams out there, they're practicing, they're doing this, they're doing that, uh, our coach isn't practicing right now. Our coach is 100% all locked in with anything and everything he needs to do uh, to build the program going
And
forward.
there's a
There's
lot of it.
no distract. Yeah, correct. We need him. We need him to focus on that. There's no distractions.
All right. Well, LSU plays, what's it, December 27th? Is that when the game is?
Yes, December
All right.
27th,
So we'll
7:30,
probably
I think.
slide a podcast in, but it's kind of coming up on the holidays. LSU basketball lost a game, so that's that. I'm done watching. Uh, hey y'all, come join us on the Game Day Tigers on the forum. Check us out on the YouTube channel. Like, comment,
Yeah,
share, subscribe, and hit that bell
yeah,
for notifications. Go Tigers.
absolutely. Go Tigers.